Good morning, everyone. This is Luis Moreno with Insurance Agent Training. All right, today we're going to be talking about a topic that really determines the success of an agent. Neil, I'm always doing tons of training, I provide tons of support for my agents, which is great. I think it gets agents to that point. Maybe I would call going through my training, you earn your degree. Okay, perfect. So you know product, you know how to quote, you know how to enroll, you know how to pick the right plans for somebody and do a good recommendation so that you're really helping out your prospect. The problem is getting in front of a lot of people. So that is probably the most single factor that determines the success of an agent is getting in front of a ton of people. You can be the smartest guy out there, but if you can't share your knowledge with people and help them out, you're going to fail. You're going to go broke. I've even seen people that just get in front of a lot of people, but they're horrible. They don't know what the heck they're doing. And somehow they find a way to succeed. Okay. And sometimes they do a lot of things wrong, but they're out there talking to a lot of people. So, with that thought going through my head a couple weeks ago, I started thinking, you know what? We've got to help the agents out there with a good lead source because I'm going to not even dispel, I'm going to tell you it's a myth, but I'm going to share something with you that I learned through the course of almost 25 years in business. And I'm going to introduce Neal, and I'm going to keep going a little bit, then I'm going to turn it over to him. Neal, hey man, thank you for being on today's webinar. Appreciate your time.
I'm happy to be here, man. I'm pumped and excited for this. So I think a lot of people are going to get some good value out of this webinar. So that's amazing.
I agree with you. I agree. And I'm using you to help me with my leads. So here's the lead picture from my point of view. An agent that does property and casualty. We do auto, home, life, commercial. Okay. I have an ACA agency. I have a Medicare agency. And then I recruit and train agents. Okay. So I'm kind of all over the board. Now I have a team that helps me with all my sales. So I get to focus on recruiting, training, and support. But here's what I know about leads. Okay. You can go buy leads. Okay. So you'll have companies out there that are running their own ads and they're getting people to submit some information. And then they're taking that lead and they're sending it to you and to you and to you and probably 20 people.
Yeah.
All right. That's the business model. They take one, they spend money on the ads. They try to entice as many people as possible to fill out the information, and then they sell it to multiple agents. So the competition begins. Okay. I remember getting leads, and I literally would get them. I'd walk over to a guy, I'm like, here, call. And he would like, I'm like, hang up the damn phone and call right now. Hello. And we'd be like the 10th person. I'm like, how did they beat us? Okay. I don't know. But if you think, here's myth number one. If you think you're the only one that's buying that lead, man, you gotta wake up and smell the coffee. Okay. That's problem number one. Okay. Problem number two is you and me have no idea what that lead company is advertising to generate that lead. We don't know if it's clickbait. We don't know if it's crap. We don't know if it is incentivized or maybe they're going to give something away. We have no idea, but we're paying for that lead. Okay. And then they tell you, Neal, oh, you can return some of these leads, but a percentage of them. The other ones you have to keep. I'm like, well, if it's
Yep.
crap, the numbers don't work. I'm like, well, it is what it is. Okay, all right. So that's myth number two. It's not a myth. I mean, it's reality.
It's
You,
happening. Yeah.
how do you know what they're advertising? Now, here's the problem out there. The problem out there is this, is that with today's rules, if you specifically do not have the consent to contact, oh, you call the wrong person. You could probably get away with it, But until you call the wrong person that maybe is hooked up to an attorney who's just waiting for us agents to call. They're just sitting there like, let's see what, dumb agent's gonna call me. And then here we are, ding, 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 ding. Hey, hello. And you're done. Okay. If you specifically do not have that consent, get ready. And there's a little blackmail scheme going where they will tell you, I personally have not experienced, but an agent in my downline experiences and his scenario, they were like, okay, look, we can turn you over to the FTC or whatever, and you deal with them. Or if you just pay us $5,000, we will make this thing disappear.
Yep.
All right. So now I do know that agent didn't pay and he got out of the business. He's like, he was just starting. I mean, it was a horrible way to start in the business. So, guys, you got problems with not knowing how many people those leads are being shared with. Number two, you've got a problem with you have no idea what the actual ad copy is. And then number three, where are the specific consents that you have to call? And if you can't produce them, get ready. All right, and there's probably more stuff, but those are the big three that I see. So now that you know this, what are our options as agents? And here's where I'm at, and here's where Neal's going to come in and talk to you guys. Here are your options. You can go do it yourself, okay? And that's a viable option. If you've got the knowledge and you've got the time to do that, the skill set, because running ads is not easy. Okay, I mean, I'm sure you could YouTube it and figure it out and AI it, whatever. But are you in the lead game, or are you in the sales game of working these leads and selling? So you've got to make sure you divide your time, or you find what you want to do. And here's what I have found out: most agents don't want to do it. They want to focus on the insurance aspect. They do not want to get into the lead game and spend time with all that crap. They don't. Now, you can hire somebody to come run ads for you. But here's the problem. Okay. And Neal comes with a solution. Solution, and he'll go over this, guys, is you can hire somebody to do it for you. But there is the done for you on your platform, and there is the done for you in their platform. And I will tell you, you don't want the done for you in their platform because you don't own the ads. You don't own anything. You don't see anything. And you don't even know your true cost. Okay. So Neal's going to come with you guys with a potential solution for you guys. So Neal, man, I kind of threw a lot of stuff up there. Hopefully I didn't blow up your presentation. Okay.
Oh no, but this is all good stuff that you put in there. So I'm happy that you discussed all that stuff.
Cool. So I gave you guys a bunch of problems, and I'm hoping to give you a solution here with Neal. So Neal, man, you can go ahead and screen share. And guys, do me a favor.
Let's do it.
If you're watching this on YouTube, because I will post it out there, Neal's information will be down below. Okay, just click on the link, and there'll be we'll have something down there where you can connect with Neal and utilize his services if you decide to. Okay, so do me one favor. Okay. Number one, if you find this video, very helpful, like the video. The more people like it, the more it gets pushed out. Number two, okay, comments. I respond to comments. I mean, I try to be as timely as possible, post any comments, and I'm the one that replies. And number three, subscribers, thank you. And those of you that are not subscribers, man, just hit that little subscribe button, because I'm doing this every Tuesday and putting out content to help you agents grow your book of business. Whether you're an agent of mine or you're just an agent and are just watching my videos to learn. So hit the subscribe button. So with that, Neal, take it, man. It's all yours.
Cool. Let me just share my screen here. Okay. Can you guys see this? Let's see here. You guys see my screen?
Yes,
okay,
yes,
perfect.
we see it. I hit myself on mute, but we do see it. Go right ahead.
Got it. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm super excited about this webinar. I kind of wanted this webinar to be a lot of educational things so that you guys get to see what winning ads actually look like and some strategies that are working here. So let's get right into it. So obviously this is me, Facebook ad strategist at work. And so this is a little bit about me, right? So how did I get started? I was an insurance agent just like you guys. So I started selling final expense. And what happened was like, even though I ran a marketing company prior to that, so for many years I ran a marketing company, we never did insurance marketing at that time, right? So as you remember in your first month or first weeks in the business, man, it gets overwhelming, right? Like we got to learn our scripts and our underwriting and our contracting and technology. So basically, I went to my upline. They put me with a guy that does exactly what I do now. And man, I was just getting that were like people that were looking for $35,000 of coverage for $35. Like bait and switch, spent 4 grand on that, like pissed me off, right? So basically I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna step aside. I'm gonna do my own ads, and they started doing really well. And then everybody else was like, "Hey, well, we're not happy with this guy either." So voila, like just through word of mouth, like now I have a full business of just helping hundreds of agents in marketing, right? So this was really cool because now I get to see like, hey, from the insurance agent side like I get to use all that knowledge in the ads that I do, and it's really cool because now I kind of saw what a lot of top producers do and kind of help a lot of my agents or a lot of my clients with some of the best techniques that everybody's kind of using here, right? So that's kind of my background story of what I did and how I got started here. But let's so on this slide, I kind of wanted to go over so that you guys are aware of what's going on in this industry, right? And Luis kind of touched on a little bit of this stuff, right? But I want to kind of go more in details, right? Because man, this industry, it is full of scams here, right? So the first thing that I kind of got here is that if you are buying leads from a lead vendor, it is almost definitively going to be some sort of gimmicky ad, right? So this is stuff like if you're doing final expense, this is going to be, hey, get like the government is going to give you some free money or claim your $25,000 now, or Social Security is going to give you $50,000 or whatever it is, right? So these are very clickbaity things. And what we kind of found were that converting somebody from that into a sale, that's a pretty big ask, right? Like we're asking them, somebody coming in on that conversation expecting the government to give them a $25,000 check, and we're then going to convince them that they need this insurance, that it's valuable, that it's worth it, that they're going to commit $100 for the rest of their life for this thing by the end of the call. That was a pretty big ask, right? So these gimmicky ads, man, they come in cheap, but it is difficult to close these ads, right? And then in Medicare, we see like the free like grocery cards, right? Like they didn't really want Medicare, they wanted free groceries, right? So this is kind of what we deal with in whenever we kind of go with like a lead vendor here, right? Now, the second one that I got is like appointment thieves. So I literally had like, just because I get asked by a lot of IMOs to do their marketing, so I literally got one IMO that was running this scheme that he was basically like, okay, all of my agents will give me the money, right, to run the ads out of my account, right? Now, what he was doing was that all of the appointments, he had like around like 25 downline, right? So out of all the appointments, they would get around like say 75 appointments per day out of all of the totality of appointments. And what he was doing was basically skimming 10 appointments for himself without paying anything so that the agents wouldn't know. So whenever you're running your ads out of like a marketer's account, this is where, or anybody else's account, this is where there's a lot of ability for scamming, right? Like stealing, like you paid for those appointments, you paid for those leads, and the upline was getting appointments. So he had a full book of like business without paying for any leads. You were paying for those leads, right? And we don't want any of that stuff happening, right? So The third thing that I see that's going on is that when you are running the ads out of the marketer's account, right? How do you know that when you pay that $1,000 a week to the marketer, that it's actually going into Facebook, right? How do you know that they're not taking some money out? So if you give that $1,000, a lot of times they're only putting $800 into Facebook, and you'll never know, right? Because you have no transparency. So the whole idea is that when you run ads out of somebody else's account, you lost all transparency, right? So that's number three. Number four, this is like a bait and switch presentation. So if you talk to marketers like me, a lot of them will show you these really nice videos, these really nice like ads, but then when they actually run the ads, they're not running those ads, right? They're running some like gimmicky ads, but they will show you really good ads in the presentation, right? So I see that happen a lot. And again, all of this is solved by having transparency, right? This is all solved by having it in your account, right? Now, age leads. So like here's the question I ask people is that when you start producing all these leads and then you say, hey, I'm gonna leave, right? Where do all those leads go? What happens to all those leads, right? So I see this happen a lot where the marketing company or the even the uplines, they're actually just downloading all the old leads that somebody has and then pushing it to people's like CRMs as brand new leads, right? So those are age leads that they are selling as new leads, right? And then the last two here, so padding the stats. So what another gimmick that I've kind of seen is that um, what they will do is like so they will take money, they will skim money off of your ad spend, and then they will run some sort of gift card ad to pad the amount of leads that you get. And it's again because you have no transparency to see what is actually being running. The agent is not complaining at all because they see enough leads coming in, right? But they don't know that 40% of the leads were coming in from a gift card ad. And then the rest of them were coming in maybe from a legitimate ad, right? So this is the padding the stats, and it makes the marketer look really good on paper, but man, it really hurts your bottom line here. So, and then the last one, the big one that Luis kind of talked about is, man, if you're buying leads from a lead vendor, they are not exclusively to you. No matter what they say, they are selling it to multiple people, right? And I want you to think about this because I got this client of mine that was basically like, well, we are going with this other guy because he's offering us $5 exclusive leads, right? And these are like shiny objects to me, right? Like, so what I basically told him was like, imagine yourself as like that business owner. If you are selling it at $5, like of course we're in business to make profit. That means that he has to be generating it at $2 consistently to be able to sell it to you as a fresh lead, right? And I don't know anybody that's generating final expense leads at $2 consistently without being like some sort of gimmick, right? Like it doesn't happen. So the only way that that person can make money is if they take that $5 lead and sell it to 10 different people, 20 different people, right? That's the only way that they could kind of make money with that model. And they kind of lure you in as like, hey, we got really cheap stuff. So anytime in this industry you see a shiny object, run, right? Like don't do this stuff, right? So that's kind of like more or less like all the gimmicks that are kind of going on in this industry, but man, there are a ton more. So just
You
be
know,
careful.
Neil,
Yeah.
I want to add one thing, just because some agents here may not know what you're talking about. When you said your own account, can you kind of explain what that means and not they're running on their account and you're running it on their
Yeah.
account?
Beautiful. So basically, like whenever you hire a marketing company like myself, the way that we work is that we would set up like an account for you, your page and your ad account. And then you're just adding me as a manager, but you own that account, meaning that you can log in, it's in your login, and anytime that for me, if you wanted to stop working with me, you could just boot me off, right? Like you can remove me as the manager, but the account is in your ownership. Now, what a lot of other marketers are basically doing is that they run the ads from their account, right? So you have no transparency into seeing like what ads are in that account and how much money is being spent or anything like that. You have no transparency. All you get is a lead that's coming in from Facebook, hopefully, right? So I guess that's the difference is that do you own that asset? Do you own that account or does the marketer own that account, right?
I will tell you now, add this, guys, because this is what I have seen. Okay. So about 3 years ago, when the all the ACA scams were kind of running rapid, where you could literally just steal somebody's account with acquiring just a little bit of information. All that has come to an end now. But I noticed that there was one ad that was being run out there consistently. And I know who the guy was. I even called him out. You know, he was one of my rat agents, not one of mine, but he was one of the rat agents out there that I just like, you know, it was just all about not writing new business. It was all about stealing. So they posted this ad out there, Neil, and I remember it was yellow
Yeah.
and red, and I could probably go find it. But what it was the free $500 Visa gift card. You sign
Yep.
up here, and you know these carriers will give you this free Visa gift card. You clicked on the ad, and it would grab you. You'd have to enter your name and your date of birth, and I guess some other demographic stuff. That's all they needed. They would go in there, swap the agent of record, steal you, and there was no free $500 Visa gift card. It was just, and what was funny about that, the ad itself wasn't funny, but with the scenario that was funny, because it was horrible for clients, horrible for agents. What was super funny about, amusing about this was that they were running it on their account, and all they would do is they would use the same ad for everybody. So if I did it, I get the same ad. If you did it, you get the same ad. And so they were running, there was nothing unique about it. But here's the deal. These people are so damn desperate. And if you just have a little common sense, what insurance company is going to give you money out of the goodness of their heart? They don't operate like that. They're in
Right.
business to make money. And you really think they're going to give you a free Visa gift card? Now, there is a $500 reward card for doing all these specific deals. You go to a doctor, you get a wellness exam, and you walk so many steps. Yes, you'll earn little rewards, but they're not just going to have you hand you this $500 Visa gift card. Oh, and it got even better, Neil. They started adding a 3-day vacation to it,
Oh, yes.
the timeshare crap or whatever it was. And I'm like, and you know what? Unfortunately, desperate people buy that. Desperate agents get into that. And a lot of these guys lost their licenses. They got banned by CMS. And right now, there's that same carrier, which is Ambetter. Did they see you advertising this? All it takes is one agent to turn you in, and you are done. That carrier will cancel your contract. There goes all of your new business commission. There goes all of your renewals. So, the point I'm making here is if you don't know what your ad guy is running for you, and he does something stupid like that, and you're getting these leads, he's playing with your license, with your contract with that carrier, your money, and you know it doesn't matter. He's making his money. You get all bent out of shape and you fire him. Like, all right, click. He turns you off. He's going to turn that same ad on for somebody else. So
Yep.
that's a little story a couple years ago. You know, fortunately, it has come to a stop. I don't even know if that guy's in the game anymore. Funny, funny. Okay, go
That
ahead and
there's a
continue.
lot of there's a lot of copycat that it still goes on, man. So you gotta be careful because man, like Medicare is like very highly regulated. Health is like much more regulated, but in like the final expense base, Wild West, right? Like it's all lies and gimmicks and things that are going on here. So, but anyways, okay. So, um, the next part over here is I want you to know what questions to ask, right? So we kind of went over this is that number one, you got to see the ads that are being run, right? Like that's a must. So like even if you're going to a lead vendor, you're going to ask them, I need to see the ads, right? And if he won't give you the actual ads or anything like that, right? Because they'll say something like, oh, it's proprietary or we're scared you're going to steal it. No, everyone can get access to the ads. So you're going to ask them, hey, I want to know the page that you are running it from, right? And then if you know the name of the page, you can type into Google Facebook ads library and then put in that page name, and you can see all the ads that they're running, right? So, but it's important that you see what ads are being run, right? Then the next thing, of course, that we just talked about it, like whose account is it, right? You lose all transparency, and this is where like a lot of like shady things happen when it's not run from your account where you could see everything. That means that if it's in your account, you can see that the lead came in from Facebook. You can see that lead in the CRM. There should be nothing more, there should be nothing less. It should always cross match that you know that these leads are coming in exclusively to you, right? And that you can also see that every dollar is being spent in your own ad account, right? So, like, whose ad account is it? And then the third thing that I want you to ask them, right? And Louise kind of touched on it, is that we want this TCPA one-to-one consent, right? So this is like a law. I don't want to call it new, but it's relatively new, saying that what was happening is that like one poor old lady was like clicking on one ad like for whatever insurance for like Medicare, and that lead vendor was then selling it to like 50 agents, 100 agents, right? And this poor old lady who clicked one ad would get blasted with hundreds and hundreds of calls, right? So they made these laws saying that when you have an ad, your name must appear there. They have to give you consent to call them, to use AI technology, to text them, automated dialers. Like we have to put all of that language in there saying that they're giving you consent, not anybody else, right? So you want to make sure that your ads are compliant because like put it this way, a lot of them they use somebody overseas and they don't care, right? Like those laws and everything like that, like nobody's coming after them if they are in another country or something like that. But our ads, we got to make sure that if we are buying stuff, it is compliant, right? So, and I'll tell you this, the fines for that stuff, man, it's a lot. It's a lot for this stuff. Like over $10,000 if you get caught. So, okay, so the next thing, right? Man, if you don't own your marketing, you don't own your business, right? Like we never want to give somebody the power to shut off our leads, right? And destroy our business. So if we are using their account, if we are using a lead vendor at any moment, they can shut off our business, right? Have control over that. Now, I want to talk a little bit about intent, right? Like, how do we get high intent leads? How do we increase the intent, right? Like, what does intent mean? Because every single marketer out there is going to tell you that their leads are high intent, right? And I kind of want to define this, right? So, intent is the intention to buy something, right? That is intent. I have an intent to buy something. So here's what a lot of marketers do, right? They will run some gimmicky ad, right? Get $25,000 from the government, get $500 gift card, right? And then they will have a form that asks 11 questions, 15 questions, and say, well, our leads are high intent because they answered 11 questions, 15 questions, or whatever it is, right? Well, this is a scam, right? This is how people sell premium leads to people, right? And they can make more money. But if I asked you on the form, like, what is your favorite hobby or your favorite color, right? Does that, by me knowing that, does that increase your intent to buy something? No, it doesn't, right? So that doesn't mean that we don't ask any questions on our stuff, but it is not. I want people to understand that asking more questions doesn't necessarily mean higher intent, right? Now, where does the intent actually come from? It's the ad creative, right? So when somebody sees that video and they're like, "Oh, that makes sense. I want to click learn more because I want to know more about what they're offering," right? That's the moment that intent is made, right? So it's not made on the form, right? Does that make sense? All right, so the other part that I want about this is like, okay, so what does intent mean for us, right? Like, so it's kind of simple. We have basically two factors that we say that if they're coming in with these two things, then we consider it high intent. Number one, they are coming in knowing their why, right? So we're not convincing them that they need this. They are coming in knowing why they want to buy this, right? So that's number one. That's a high intent lead. And number two, I know this is going to sound like self-explanatory, but they got to also know the product, like what are they buying, right? Because like again, I could put the free gift card or the get $25,000 from the government, so I have high intent to get free money from the government, not about my product, right? Which is selling insurance, right? So we got to make sure that they know what the ad is really about, right? So that's what we kind of consider high intent. Now, I want to talk about like why of course we're biased, but I want to explain our theory of why we think that our leads are the highest intent in the industry, right? So most ads that you see in the industry, they're going after window shoppers, right? So these are the shiny objects, clickbaity stuff that is out there, right? This is the get money for free. Like, is it true that the government is going to give me $25,000? Is it true that I could get $50,000 of coverage? Is it true that I'll get $500 gift card or free groceries or whatever? And those are window shoppers, right? Those are people that are still needing to be educated in the education phase. And that's what most ads kind of go after, right? And again, as I said before, those people are really difficult to convert into a sale because we have to go through so many hoops. They're so far to the left of the start of the buying process that it is a really difficult task to get them to buy something. So what we did differently is that we started trying to attract people in the decision-making phase, right? So what this is like people who have already talked to somebody, people who have already been educated, people who have already gotten quotes to compare your stuff to. And the way that we did this is we started thinking to ourselves, like, well, what questions do people have in this decision-making phase that they wouldn't have earlier, right? So we were getting, questions like for example, for final expense, they were asking questions like, well, do they cover my health conditions? Do they have any 2-year waiting periods? Like you wouldn't know what a 2-year waiting period was unless you spoke to somebody, right? And the fact that you are now getting multiple quotes means that you have a reasoning, a why, right? Like if you're just looking for a gift card, you're not getting multiple quotes. Here, we're getting people that really know their why, right? And that's what we consider high intent, right? So that's how I want to say, like, one of the things that kind of sets our leads apart, right? So, all right, so now let me start showing you some ads, right? But I want to start by this, right? Because I want you guys to tell me like what you see wrong with this ad. Like, why did this ad fail? Because this is a muscle that I want you to develop, right? Like, I want you to look at an ad and tell me, like, okay, this is what's wrong. This is a bad ad, right? So I don't know. I'll maybe like give it a second or two. Like, let's see if anybody wants to say anything here. I don't know if I can see the chat here.
I got it. So it looks busy. Okay, Michael raised his hand. Let me get Michael on here. Hold on here. I'm
There
going
you
to
go.
unmute him. Hold on. I want to hear what he says. Let's see here. All right, Michael, go ahead. You can. I've unmuted you, man. Go ahead. Tell me. Why can't I hear him? Let's see. I don't know if you're unmuted, Michael.
It's
Uh,
unmuted, but
Oh, we got you. Go ahead.
okay, kind of mistake raised my hand though, but just well, it's AI generated, but or it looks AI generated, but I
yeah.
think really the biggest thing is it puts a specific price out there that you're probably not going to be able to get.
That's one thing I'll tell you, like again, like spoiler alert, if you advertise 2770, you're gonna get people that can only afford 2770, right? So that's one thing. But here's the main thing, right? And I pointed this one out specifically because this is actually one of the biggest mistakes that I kind of see people make, right? So when you look at this ad, where do your eyes go first, right? It goes to this 2770, right? And when people are scrolling, right, multiple things at once, we only have a few seconds to digest in our mind, is this ad relevant to my life or not? Right? So if all my eyes go to is this 2770, I'm going to scroll right past it because I don't know what they're selling, right? This is not relevant to my life if that's all I see, because this is where your eyes go. Now, the second part, I think somebody said it like, hey, it's really busy, is that we start seeing like that it's about final expense over here, right? Like we don't see it anywhere else, like that this was actually about insurance, right? So this is actually one of the big mistakes that I think that a lot of marketers make. Whenever I see ads, I'm like, man, somebody who's looking at this ad doesn't even know what the ad is about, right? Like you guys focus in on the features or whatever, but it's not clear to somebody who's scrolling like blindly what this is about, right? So that's kind of like why I bought this up, because again, I want you to develop this muscle to be like, hey, this is a good ad, this is a bad ad, right? All right, so let's move on. Now I'm going to show you some of my ads, and then I'll just explain why they work and all that stuff here, right? So let me put this here. All right, so
a friend of mine passed away.
sorry. Okay. So I just want to show you the image ad first, and then the rest of them will kind of be videos, but I want you to hear them. So this image ad, man, we kill it with this on final expense, right? And I'll show you the health side as well. But the first thing that we have here is that we have a face, right? Like if your ad doesn't have a face is what stops somebody from scrolling, right? So we have a face, and notice how we didn't put like, for final expense, we didn't put like super white haired, like lady. We put somebody early retirement because we found that, hey, that brings in really, really old people where we couldn't help them, right? So we kind of chose this strategically. But the second part is that, hey, they know exactly what we're selling, burial insurance. And notice how we're using the terminology burial insurance because we realized not everyone understood what final expense meant, right? And then over here, this is where the magic happens, right? This is what I was telling you, where if somebody understood what a 2-year waiting period was and that they cover their conditions, this is attracting somebody that is further along in that decision-making phase, right? So they're going to be like, oh, they don't have a 2-year waiting period and they accept my diabetes, right? So, and then over here, we have a call to action, right? So this is just adding some more curiosity. So this ad, it kills it. But beyond the ads, we also run videos, right? So I want you to hear what one of these videos kind of sound like here. So let me put it here.
A friend of mine passed away, and her kids had to put $14,000 on a credit card just to pay for her funeral. They had less than 48 hours to come up with that money and spent years working overtime to pay it off. That's when I realized I never want my kids going through that. So I got a simple burial insurance plan. A broker shopped over 30 companies and got me approved in 10 minutes. No medical exams, and I qualified even with diabetes and high blood pressure. For around $60 to $80 a month, my children are not going to struggle. Tap Learn More to see the new burial insurance plans that were just released before rates increase.
All right. So I want you guys to think that if somebody watched this video and they understood what $14,000 of credit card debt felt like and how many years your kids would have to take to pay that off, how many years that would set them back, and that you can solve that for $60 to $80 a month, if that messaging made sense to you, you're coming into that conversation knowing your why, right? Does that make sense?
It does, man. We got a couple of comments. Blake put on here. He's seen this ad on Facebook. Michael, you raise your hand. Do you have a question or a comment? Don't know. Sometimes you just raise your hand and it automatically sees it. All right, we'll
There.
continue. But you're very right,
Yeah.
Neal. I look at this ad. I know what I'm buying, but what I like about it is you're posing a problem and
Yes.
you're offering a solution to the problem. I don't want my kids to pay. And I would assume most seniors in that position really don't want to be a burden to their kids.
Nope.
They may not leave them
Yeah,
much, but they definitely don't want to leave them with having to figure out how they're going to get buried. And unfortunately,
Right. As a parent, like as a parent, it's like you feel it's your obligation to make sure that, because no kid plans for their parents' death, right? Like nobody's gonna save up money for their parents' death. Like it's not like what they think about. So it's the parents' obligation to kind of make sure that that's kind of taken care of so that they don't put that burden on them, right? So, but the main thing, I mean, you hit it right on, is that our videos, it's basically a similar structure, right? So it's like a hook, a problem, solution, and a call to action, right? That's the winning formula for doing videos, right? So again, we find something that they relate to, and that describes the problem, so that, hey, I know that problem. Now I want to learn more. This is coming in with higher intent, right? So let
loving
me
it.
start showing you guys some of the health side, because I know that a lot of your people are more on the health side. So let me start showing you some of that stuff. All right, good. So this is a strategy, right, that I love, right? Like a lot of my clients are killing it. So when we talk about AEP, when we talk about open enrollment, every single person is going after like ads that are like, "Hey, Medicare is really confusing. Let me be the person to help you," right? Or same thing with ACA. That's kind of the messaging that, man, they're being blasted with it, right? So what we did is that we found that going after some ancillary products to get our foot in the door was was way less competition. Man, we were getting, check this out. So this is one of my clients over here. He generated, this is for the month of July, so just last month, he generated 860 leads at 83 cents a lead, right? And we were running like these ancillary products, right? So this is dental, cancer, heart attack, stroke. We were running these like drug assistance programs. And let me just explain a little bit about like the intent of these. Like if you were running cancer, heart attack, stroke ads, these are people that were attracted because something happened in their health. And those people are always open to seeing a review of making sure that they have the best plan that covers a lot of their medicines. Like these are people that have a lot of problems, right? Same thing when we started advertising for drug assistance programs. Like these are people that legitimately had a reason that they couldn't afford their drugs, right? So they were more than happy to review plans to see if there's something else that will cover it, right? So this opened up a nice transition. So it got our foot in the door really cheap, and then we can then know how to talk to cross-sell them into doing a policy review, right? They kind of went hand in hand, right? And I'll tell you this, a lot of agents, they think like, okay, well, this ad is about Medicare, so let's just talk about Medicare. But the thing that I love about Luis, man, he knows how to cross sell. Like he teaches cross selling, right? So listen to Luis on, okay, if I got a dental lead or if I got a cancer, heart attack, stroke lead, how do I transition that into talking about health insurance, right? Like their plans and making sure that there's no gaps and vulnerabilities that they have, right? So we found that this strategy, it kills it, right? And I want to say this is that like for a lot of us, when AEP comes, man, we need to be blasted with leads, right? Like we only have 2.5 months of like open like runway here, where we cannot be searching for leads, we cannot have a shortage of leads, and this is a great way to just add in tons and tons of volume so that you will never have a shortage of people to call here, right? So let me show you what this is about cancer, heart attack, stroke, but let me show you what this ad looks like here. Let me see here.
A friend of mine passed away and her
What's going on here? All right, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know why that's not playing, but let me see if I can pull it up. Give me 1 second.
While you're doing that, Neil, I'll throw this in. So you're wondering, well, there's not a lot of money in dental. And you're right. I mean, we make, not a lot of commissions, but it will pay off a little bit. The real money maker is not really selling that dental plan. The real money maker is in cross-selling something else, getting
Yes.
a lead. Okay, go ahead, Neil.
Oh, exactly. So, all right. So this is what this ad looked like. I don't know why it's not playing, but here it is.
Was enough until my
Oh, hold
husband
on.
got cancer.
Let me start it over. Okay.
We thought health insurance was enough until my husband got cancer. We were wrong. Even with health insurance, the bills just kept coming. Travel to treatments, expensive meds, everyday expenses. It felt like we were draining our savings overnight. The hardest part? Cancer runs in his family, but we never thought it would happen to us. That's when we discovered cancer, heart attack, and stroke insurance. If you're diagnosed with a covered illness, it pays a lump sum cash benefit directly to you, not the hospital, so you can use it however you need. Imagine how much relief an extra $75,000 can bring. If cancer, heart attacks, or strokes run in your family, don't make the same mistake we did. Tap Learn more to check your options before life makes the decision for you.
All right. So here we're selling cancer, heart attack, stroke, and it had a messaging, right? Like if anyone has ever been in that position where they had a family member who has had cancer or something, man, it drains you, right? So this puts in the problem, and then the solution is like, hey, like how much relief do you think an extra $75,000 would bring, right? So if this started making sense to you, you're going to click this. Now, when you click this, it's a lot because you know somebody that has cancer, you're scared about some like cancer or heart attacks or strokes. And again, this becomes a segue into like doing a review on their policy to make sure that the medicines that they're going to use are covered and things like that. So this is a much cheaper way to get your foot in the door and then convert them into like writing them a policy for Medicare or if this is ACA or something like that, right? So, but yeah, so we've seen this work really well. So like, but if you have more questions about it, you guys let me know, right? Okay, so now let's go into the next one, which is a T65 ad, right? Because everyone wants to do that. Oh, and I forgot to mention these ancillary product stuff, we can run those all year round, right? We can make money, so we don't need to wait for AEP and stuff like that. And same thing with these T65s, right? We can run that all year round here. So this is what a T65 ad looks like.
If you're turning 65 this year, stop scrolling. One Medicare mistake could cost you far more than you realize. My husband turned 65 and said, I'll figure Medicare out myself. Big mistake. We chose the cheapest Medicare plan, thinking we were saving money. We didn't realize it didn't cover several of our prescriptions, and we ended up paying $1,427 out of pocket. Looking back, I wish we talked to a licensed Medicare broker first. They handled the paperwork and helped us choose the right plan. Now our prescriptions are covered and we can enjoy life. If you're turning 65, click Learn More for a free, no obligation Medicare review to understand your options.
All right. So this is like an ad that we can run for T65, like it does really well, right? So these are kind of like some of the final expense ads that people have been killing it with, some of the ACA and the ancillary products and Medicare. Like so again, like I can keep showing you more and more ads, and like that's what like meetings, like one-on-one meetings that we can have to kind of develop your strategy of how you're going to allocate your budget, right? Like what percentage of it could be ancillary products? What percentage of it could be T65? What percentage could be just regular Medicare ads that are basically saying, hey, Medicare is confusing. I'm here to help, right? So we're going to develop that strategy for you individually, right? But this is what some of the ads kind of look like here. So let's go to the next slide. So I just want to explain to you guys when people see that ad, like how does it work? Like how do we get that ad into a booked appointment here, right? So the first thing is that they see the ad, okay? Then when they click the little learn more button on the bottom of the ad, it goes to an instant form. So that instant form, basically this is where we're going to collect their information. This is where we're going to collect their name, their phone number, like their email address, the state that they live in. We can ask them what we say is like up to 2 questions, but we're going to make sure that those questions are really valuable to us, right? Because every single question that we have is one more opportunity for them to drop out. And to us, like the fact that they saw that ad and they're like, okay, that makes sense. I need to learn more about it. We kind of want to get their information as quickly as possible. We can follow up with them afterwards with automations and the CRM and all of that stuff, right? So they fill out that information on the form. Now, that information, number one, will go right into your CRM, trigger all these automations. And then number two, after they click submit, they're redirected to a thank you page, right? Which is a landing page. Now, let me just show you. I have one with Luis here. So this is what like a quick little landing page looks like here, right? So this is basically designed to get you into a calendar booking, right? So that they can self-book onto your calendar here, right? So it's a very simple page. They go down, they'll start to see some carrier name recognition here, right? Like, oh, okay, I know Aetna. Okay, I know Mutual of Omaha. And then they'll see your face, right? They'll have the option to call you over here, right? And then this is just a little carrot. You have some reviews, you have some FAQs, another little call button. So it's a very simple page, but the focus, we wanted to make it simple so that the focus was booking a calendar appointment, right? And what we kind of see is that in the beginning, your account is like 10 to 15% of the people will book. And then as it kind of stabilizes and Facebook starts to get data and learn, you'll see about 20 to 25% that will actually book onto your calendar. And then about 5% ish, a little bit more maybe sometimes, will actually call you. But I want you to understand is that filling out a form on Facebook, that's a pretty low level of commitment. Making an appointment, a much higher level of commitment, and then actually calling inbound to you, man, that's a really, really high level of commitment, right? So that we will always have very few people that are at that stage, a good amount of people that are at the calendar stage that they will make an appointment, and then we will get a ton of people that are just interested, but they're not ready to speak yet, right? So that's kind of like where we go, right? Now, so the landing page, then they book onto your calendar. Now they start all the automations here, right? Oh, where did you go? Hold on, give me one. Okay, there you are. Sorry. Okay. So now the elephant in the room, right? Because I know a lot of you guys are probably having difficulties getting people to pick up the phone, right? This is, I want to say, like the biggest complaint that we have, and really what's going on. I want to say that maybe like December-ish onwards, right? Maybe even a little bit before that, man, you're going to see that pickup rates have really plummeted, right? So what's going on is that number one, like a lot of your phone numbers are on spam, right? Like they will show up as spam likely. And it just has to do with the nature that we dial. But the change that happened, I would say like December-ish, right? Was that before it was the carriers, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon that would put the spam tag on your phone number. And we knew how to clean it, right? There's a website, it's called freecallerregistry.com. If you haven't seen it, like make sure you're putting in your numbers in there and registering it every day so that it remains clean from the AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile level, right? But now, coming in December, the big change was is that now your Android and iOS levels were blocking all of your calls, right? So if your phone number didn't have a high reputation, man, you were going straight to voicemail, or a lot of times your phone wasn't even ringing on their side, right? So they would see it as a missed call, but it wasn't even ringing, right? And that's something new that, man, we didn't have like great options of how to fix that stuff, right? So some of the stuff that we were doing was like, okay, the technical stuff, right? Like, and I'll go over our solution in a second, but the technical stuff is that if you are calling, like, we got to audit all of your numbers like frequently, right? And you're going to test it on a live Android and iOS to see which numbers are getting through to both of them, right? And then if they're not, then we're getting rid of it. Because if you worked an entire day, say you dialed 500 dials in a day or 400 dials in a day, and you are on spam, I guarantee you that you might get one pickup, right? And you would be frustrated right? That nobody's picking up. So making sure that your numbers are clean, really, really big, right? But we also have things like, hey, caller IDs, like we got to make sure that our name shows up. If it's just a phone number, a lot of people don't pick it up because again, the thing that we're seeing right now, this is the shift that's slowly happening, but man, everyone is being bombarded with spam calls, right? Like, especially our seniors. So less and less, they are being programmed to not pick up anything that doesn't have a name, that they don't recognize, that they don't see, right? So this is where we're getting a lot of big problems, right? So I want people to think about outside the box solutions, right? Because when we were, I'll be honest, this is a problem that made me lose a lot of sleep, right? Like, why aren't people picking up? Because the leads are good, they're getting good quantity, good quality when they speak to them, but they're not getting enough pickups, right? So we started thinking outside the box, right? Like, the problem is that like us as agents, we don't realize is that the person or the client, they may want the product, but they're not ready to engage with us in the way that we want them to engage, right? Like we would love that they would just pick up our call and buy, but that's not how it works, right? Like they're not always at that stage, right? And we have to nurture them. We have to think of different ways to reach out to them, right? So here's our solution that we started thinking outside the box, right? So we started this stuff with getting appointment rates, right? So we started went from 20% show up rates for appointments to 60%, right? So we started thinking to ourselves, we're like, okay, well, why are people not showing up? And most people kind of go into the thing like, hey, it's just they need reminders, right? They forgot about the appointment, right? So we have automations that will send them reminders, hey, the appointment is starting in 15 minutes, an hour, and tomorrow and all that stuff, right? But of course you still need to do that, but that wasn't the picture, right? So I want you to think about, imagine if you had like a tech support issue and you typed up the problem and then you get an email back saying, we received your inquiry and somebody will get back to you shortly. Like, how do you feel, right? Like you feel, man, nobody's paying attention to me. Nobody's going to get to me. I'm anxious because I don't know where this is going. I lost control, right? And this is the same concept of why people are not showing up, right? Because all they get is an automated reply saying that your appointment is confirmed, it's starting in whatever time, but they don't know that somebody is on the other end actually paying attention to them, right? And so what we did is we pulled out our personal cell phone, right? And we would send them a video, be like, hey, Luis, we have an appointment today at 1 o'clock to get you that burial insurance quote that you requested. I've already started working on your file. I see some excellent options for you, but we'll go over all the details today at 1 o'clock. I'll see you then, right? And we send them a personalized video like that from our phone, right? And when we sent that personalized video, like number one, they got to see your face. They got to see that you're a real person. But more importantly, they got to see that you're actually paying attention to them, right? And that you're expecting them to show up, right? And we would text them from our personal cell phone, not our automations, because if we send it from the CRM, it comes as a downloadable file. If we send it from our phone, it comes in as a preview and they can just click play, right? But now this bridged the gap because all of you guys that are like face to face, man, they are, you guys have an advantage because they can see you face to face, right? Like they're not going to kick you out of the house and all that stuff and be rude to you like that, or at least most of the time, right? But in telesales, we lost that ability to see each other, right? This helps bridge that gap. It puts in their mind who they're dealing with, right? So we got to be different in the way that we approach people. So like I have a client, what he does is that he gets 30 leads like a day, right? That was his capacity, right? So what he does is he calls all of them, he texts all of them, then he sends each one a personalized video, right? And man, his pickup rate is like, not pickup rate, but I want to say engagement rate. It's like quadruple like somebody who's just calling, right? So these things, they really work, right? Sending videos, sending text messages. But this is a new way, like we have to do something different. Now, another one that we've actually been testing, if you didn't want to do video, send them a voice memo, right? It's different. People don't usually see that, so they're curious and they have to click play and they'll hear you out and they'll engage with you a little bit more this way, right? But we like the video the best. But of course, every time I've kind of put this out to people, my agent or my clients, they've tried it for a little bit, and then they get lazy, they stop, and they're like, oh, I got a bad hair day, and I'm like, oh, I know what that feels like, right? So, but yeah, man. So this is one strategy, right? The second strategy that I got for you guys is get better at texting, right? Man, agents are terrible at texting, right? Like I see it and I'm just like, man, who would reply to this, right? Like, Luis, if your wife was texting you and she says, Luis, like text back the word dinner if you want to have dinner tonight, you'd be like, who texts like that? Who would naturally do that? You'd be like, what's going on here, right?
Well, first of all, I would respond because I don't get dinner very often. Yeah, I'd be like, dinner,
Right.
dinner, 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 dinner. Make something, please.
Right. It's like but I see it as like some automation. So I had like one client, he put this stuff here, and I point this out because I don't know if you guys can read this, but it was basically like, okay, so that they received the burial insurance quote thing, that's fine. Then he's like, I'm gonna personally be calling you shortly from my direct number. Again, this person is not like we're trying to go for the home run, right? This stuff, when they start sending messages like that, we're not helping them. We're trying to help ourselves so that they start interacting with the way that we like them to interact with us, right? That makes it easier on us, but we're not really trying to help them, right? Like we're not trying to like get like quotes for them or something like that, right? And then not only that, but they're saying, okay, I'm going to call you shortly. Okay, there's anxiety right there. I don't really want to be called, right? So a lot of them, they like to start the conversation by text, right? So again, we have to adapt. We got to start our conversations through text. That doesn't mean that we don't get on the phone. In fact, the text message is there to warm them up, to break the ice. We're now no longer just a random stranger once we start replying back and forth. And then we can ask them to transfer that to a phone call, right? That method works a lot better than your first message coming in. Here's my calendar link, right? Sign up. You're a stranger to them. Why would I sign up to your thing? I'm not ready to commit to speaking to you yet, right? But if you already started helping me and I see that you're already working on my quote, I'm probably going to then get on the phone with you to finish it up, right? So I want you to understand that, hey, this is the change, right? Do not try to get the appointment right from the first message, right? I want you to use it as an icebreaker. I want you to talk like a human, right? Like I don't want you to talk if you could reply back now, if now is a good time or a good time, I'll call you from this number, right? Reply back with the time or reply back with the time that is good for you to hop on a quick 10-minute call. It sounds very desperate, right? Like we're begging them to talk to us, right? Rather than trying to help them. This is what I see agents do all the time. This is what I see CRM set up. This is what I see. This is the reason why you're not getting any responses from that, right? So let me show you. Let me see if I have it here. I took a screenshot, but I tried to black out all the information. This is like this is what my AI agent basically did, right? But I want to do this because I want you to see what it's like, right? So we basically start with a question. The first question is going to be the simplest question that they can answer just to break the ice, right? Because we want them to start to reply, right? So we don't ask a very difficult question. We ask them, by the way, are you still living in Texas? That's it. So the amount of people that can reply to that is a lot. Yes, I still live in Texas, right? Then it says, thanks. Like, can you tell me your date of birth? Helps me look at the right options for you. They gave me at least their year, right? Like their date of birth, right? So now it looks like we are actually working on their quote right now, right? And that was the goal, right? To make it look like we are working on their quote instead of hop on my calendar, please talk to me, like please reply back, please pick up the phone, right? That's what most agents start. But after that, we asked them another simple question. Like, got it, thanks. Are you a smoker or non-smoker? Again, it looks like I'm working on their stuff, right? And then they say non-smoker, right? Now here's the transition. Thanks for letting me know. to finish up and see if you qualify for any discounts, I'll need to ask you a few questions over the phone. Would you prefer a call this Wednesday or Thursday, right? Because she had a calendar block off, or else it would say like pretty much the same day or next day, right? But she had a calendar block off here, right? So this is how we transfer it, saying like, hey, just to get you the finalized quote and see if you qualify for any additional discounts, I need to ask you a few questions over the phone, just easier over the phone, like something like this, right? And that transfer. So what we've done here is we've warmed them up, made them look like we've already started working on their file, and now we're going to transfer them. And now, here's the thing. When we deal with seniors, you have to understand that seniors get text fatigue. They don't like typing a lot of stuff. They're not very good at typing a lot of stuff. And they also don't like more than like 2 or 3 questions. So basically, we ask them like 3 simple questions and then try to convert them into an appointment to finish up, right? We've seen that sequence work really, really well, right? And now she basically said, she asked the question of if we're a broker, that's fine. The AI handled that. But then it was like, ask them what time works better. She said 2 o'clock, made an appointment. And then we say, okay, you're all set, the time and date, and it says, please save my number. And if you need to reschedule or will be late, just text me beforehand. This is telling them that we're going to take it seriously here, right? And then let's see here. I'll just say this. And then after that, it just sends them all the reminders, right? Of the appointments here, right? This is from the CRM over here, right? So that's kind of the method that we use for getting better at texting, right? All right. So, but important because in the lack of getting people to pick up the phone and people wanting to interact with us differently than what we want them to, we gotta put in that extra effort. We gotta send them these videos. Imagine like for your Medicare review, like clients for their renewals coming up. Imagine if you took again these videos, just so you know, they're gonna be 14 seconds, no longer because then the file size gets too big and it doesn't send to a lot of people's phones. So 14 seconds, you're basically going to send them a video and just say that, hey, it's time for your annual review. Let me know if anything's changed in your prescriptions or your health conditions. We'll make sure that we start the research. Something like this, right? If you send them that video, man, that engagement rate is going to skyrocket. And it only takes 14 seconds per person. Now, if you were super lazy, right, then you can make one generic video and then just keep sending it out to all your clients, just not say their name in it. And then you could put their name in the text message, right? If you want it to be save a little bit of time, or the best way is you're going to say their name personally, right? It's going to work. And then also getting better at texting them. Okay, cool. So, but you understood all that? Everything was good, clear? Okay. So the next slide over here, I just want to talk about realistic expectations of what you can expect because, again, this industry is just filled with shiny objects of people that will tell you things that, like, you will feel like you're a failure because you're not meeting some high level expectation that somebody said you should be getting, right? Like, I don't want you guys feeling like that. So I'm going to break it down really what the results that I kind of see in real life here, right? So the first question that I have here is just how many leads do I need, right? So, and obviously this will differ from health side to like final expense, right? So obviously in the health side, man, we need to be blasted with as many people as possible during like open enrollment and AEP, right? Like we're not going to make a living for ourselves if we are struggling to talk to 10 people per month, right? Or praying that we meet somebody and happen to start up some conversation at Starbucks or something like that. Those are like bonuses, right? Like we're not gonna, during AEP, we need to be blasted with leads, right? And in fact, I want you to get more leads than you can even handle because we can always keep nurturing them for other things and cross-selling them, right? So I want you really to get a lot of leads. But the way that I kind of always answer this question is how many leads do you need? It depends on your capacity of dialing. Somebody who's only working like 1 hour a day has no business getting 100 leads like a week, right? So my rule of thumb is that here, I'll put my calculator here. If you can commit to dialing, just say 1,500 dials per week, right? And then what my rule of thumb is that you need to have the bandwidth to dial each person at least 20 times, man. I see this happen a lot in the health spaces that people call once, right? They're not going to pick up on one dial. In fact, we have a rule that like we don't consider a lead sufficiently dialed until 20 dials, right? So we're going to dial them 20 times. That means that you can handle 75 leads if you're going to dial 1,500 dials, right, per week, right? And then we would just look at like your cost per lead. So like final expense is going to be different. Like in final expense, we're talking about like $10 a lead. So you should be spending $750, right, per week, right? If you are on the health side, we can supplement it with some ancillary products and things like that. So that's going to be a pretty mixed thing. But I'm just going to say like, hey, $5 to $7 a lead, right? So let's just say times, let's just do times 6, right? $450. That's how much I want you to spend per week if you were dialing 1,500 dials, right? That's kind of how I answer this question. Then again, how much should I spend? Depends on how many leads you need times the cost per lead. I'm going to give you how much you should be spending. Now, you could spend less. There is minimums, right? Like, I don't want anyone thinking that they're going to come into here and only spend $5 a day. Those days are gone. Facebook is now much more expensive. In fact, we have a minimum really at $50 a day that we say to spend. And even then, it's wobbly results. But again, we need a lot of leads. Like, we're not in business if we don't have leads, right? So this is important part. Like, this is not where you want to skimp, right? Then how long before I see results, right? So yes, Facebook does go through a learning phase, right? It usually takes maybe 2 weeks or something like that, right? And of course, that learning will continue, and you'll get better and better quality leads. But here's the thing. A lot of people, they come into this industry and they see all these people making $100,000 a week, right? And they're like, well, that could be me. He made $100,000 off this 100 leads that he bought. Why can't I do that, right? And in the reality is that there's a ramp up period, meaning that if you don't have a big database and you're starting from scratch, say day one, you get 5 leads. You call all 5 leads. What do you do for the rest of the day, right? Like, we don't even have enough leads to work a full day until week 2, 2.5, kind of coming into that range, right? And we don't have like a big pipeline. And the other thing that I want people to understand is that when people say, "Oh, I close at 10% rate," like for final expense or something like that, is that like 10 sales didn't come from those 100 leads. That 10 sales came from maybe 2 referrals. It came from maybe 3 people from 2 weeks ago that finally picked up the phone. And maybe you get like 3 or 4 that are coming in from the batch of 100 that we actually picked up, right? So if you don't have all of that, you don't have the referrals, you don't have the old batches of leads, your numbers are going to be much lower, right? So what I kind of see for most people is that this is really like, to see really, really realistic good results is going to take 2, sometimes 3, but around 2 months to really see that results. Now, health, it's a little bit different because, man, we're going to pack you in tons and tons of leads, but you got to work them, right? So the question here I have is like, okay, what is your average cost per lead? So my rule of thumb, like for the final expense side, I know that what a good quality high intent lead is going to be around $10 a lead. A lot of my clients are below that, right? Like I think I looked at my average for 2026 and my average was 756, right? Like across all my clients, right? So that's really where I am. But again, at $10, I'm not panicking, right? Like that's what I consider a good lead. For the like ancillary products, I mean, you're talking about anywhere between $1 to $5. You're talking about like Medicare ads and ACA, maybe that $6, $7 range, right? And then we're talking about T65. My T65 is anywhere between $5 to $9. That's where they're kind of coming in, right? High quality leads. That's what it's going to cost, right? So hopefully that sets some expectations, but now this is what I do, right? So like again, I wanted this presentation to be a lot more educational, but here's what my offer basically is. So we run a management company, right? So we would run your ads in your account, right? We would work to set it up. There's no setup fee or anything like that. So we would run the ads from your account. We are just added as a manager. We're going to connect it to your Go High Level CRM. If you don't have Go High Level CRM, number one, go to Luis and get his CRM. But if you don't have one, we can always send it to a Google Sheet or something like that. Just depends on what you have. But either way, we'll work with you. Then the hard part is ongoing optimizations and ad creation. So anytime that we see one of the ads not performing, we're going to change it. We're going to change strategies. If you want to start working on different products, then we can make ads for that stuff as well. And now the special that I'm giving for Luis's people, right, is that this fee of $500 a month, this is going to be both health and life combined, right? You don't have to pay a separate fee for each vertical, right? So, and the reason I do that is because, like, man, in the health space, you can go so many different directions, and it's not just Medicare, but you can start going ancillary products and Medicare and so many different angles. Man, this could be me being stuck making 20 different ads, 30 different ads for people, right? So I couldn't always fit it in into one price that I can do unlimited ads for every single product. But with Luis's team, I'm going to give you both health and life together. I'm going to eat that cost, and I'm going to make sure that you're taken care of for both, because I see that Luis, he really wants people to start cross-selling, right? This is something that he preaches, like, don't leave money on the table. Don't leave vulnerabilities for your clients here, right? So this is why I wanted to kind of offer that for him. And just so you know, there's no contracts. You can cancel anytime. I'm pretty easygoing about this stuff. And then the other thing I just wanted to make very clear. So this is my management fee. Your ad spend is going to be charged directly from Facebook. So you're going to put your credit card in your account, and Facebook is going to charge you that money. My like my fee is just invoiced to you directly, right? So if you want to know like more, the website, it's atmleadskaching.com/Moreno. So that is for this special deal here. And then just so you know what ATM Leads is, so Alpha Theory Marketing. So that's the company I have. So ATM Leads. And then when we started doing that, we called it ATM Leads, but everyone kind of started texting me like kaching, kaching, like so that's why we started calling it ATM Leads Kaching, right? But that's the name of that program basically. So,
So
but
what this means, guys, you can go run your FE, mortgage protection, whatever you're going to run on the life side, but you also get to run your ACA and your Medicare and or. So you kind of get to decide what you want to do. The beauty of this, and this is what I tell agents, you go get FE leads. Those people are perfect for Medicare and even ACA. So one lead doesn't mean that, okay, that's all you're going to be able to offer. If you're there talking to that insured, if you're there at doing a face-to-face, cross-sell the hell out of it. Okay, you already paid for that lead. It's yours. Now let's turn it around for maybe a Medicare option. Okay, on a Medicare, maybe you go in there, you do the Medicare. There's nothing wrong with you saying, hey, Mr. Client, Mr. Senior, just to let you know, my agency, we're full service. We do everything. Not only can we help you with your Medicare options, but we can help you with your dental and vision. We can help you with your cancer. We can help you with your hospital indemnity. We can help you with your final expense. I'm agent extraordinaire. I can help do all that. All you have to do is ask me. Okay, it's your business card. Okay, you go after ACA clients. A lot of agents think ACA, well, I'm just going to sell that plan and I'm done with it. Oh, hell no. Okay, you go do the ACA from ACA. Yeah, and the reason I love ACA because ACA is kind of my building block for everything in my agency. My ACA clients, I sell them P&C, auto and home, and renters all day long. The self-employed people, I am all over them, white on rice. Okay, why? Because they own a business and they do commercial. Okay, they also need life insurance. And then here's the beauty, Neal. Eventually, those people are going to turn 65. Or maybe they have parents that are 65 or need help with Medicare. So, man, one lead doesn't mean one product. It can lead
Yep.
to multiple. So, just FYI there, guys. I'm always thinking maximize my cost. Okay, get the most ROI from this lead. I want to ask you two questions, man. We got some questions here from Michael, and I'm a little behind on this one here, so I'm not sure what he's asking. But what was the phone number site?
Oh, it's called freecallerregistry.com, right? So this is a website where you can register your phone number and it's going to submit it to AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile to clean it on the carrier level. Doesn't clean it on the Android and iOS level, right? But it cleans it on the carrier level. So like if you see like big call centers, man, they have like 5,000 numbers they just upload there every day, pumping it through that site. So that's just one site where you could send it to all three companies.
I'm going to type it in the chat. What is it again? Free?
Free caller registry. And just so you know, one hack is like they allow you to download like an Excel template and you can put in all of your phone numbers so that every day you could just upload that same document.
I guess I can't spell registry. I am somewhere else. Let's see. Free, C-A-L,
Free
caller,
caller
red.
free CALLER registry.com. Here, I'll just show you what it looks like over here, right? So you would just put in your email, verify your thing. It's a one-page form, literally takes a few seconds. And then just so you see it, First Orion, Haya, and TNS, these are the three companies that Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T use to determine, they outsource it to these companies to determine if your number is going to come up as spam or not. So we're just re-registering with these companies saying that, no, we are a legitimate business. Don't put us on spam, right? Because again, the nature in which we dial, we are going to be susceptible to spam.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Mine opened up something completely different. Let's see here. Let's
Is
get.
that the, here, you want me to put the website back up?
You know what? Put it on there for me, please. Man, sometimes.
And then just so you know, like all of the clients that I work with, because I understand that this is such an important part, like we do frequent audits, right? Like part of the service is that like once we set up your ads, I'm gonna teach you how to make sure, not make sure, but at least the best we can do to make sure that your numbers are clean, that you're following best practices, that you're not over dialing on one number, like and that you're doing things the right way.
Cool. I see it now. I'm going to ask another question here from Terry. At $1,500 a week, I feel I may need AI to dial for me. And the only reason, and only ring my phone when they actually pick up. Is that doable?
It's doable, but here's the thing with the AI. So number one, in my opinion, the AI voice is not very good, right? Like it messes up a lot. It sounds very robotic. Like so I wouldn't recommend it. The second thing is that AI voice, those minutes, really expensive. So like for example, I had one client, she blasted her AI out to like a 4,000 person database. Call, 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 call. She only got 12 appointments out of that 4,000 list, lead list. Now she paid $1,100 in minutes to get 12 appointments. And I keep thinking to myself, I was like, well, she was doing final expense. I was like, that could have been like 110 fresh leads, right? Like for the amount of minutes that you're paying for AI voice, right? So again, like I'm not saying that you have to do 1,500 dials, but if you're gonna do less than that, then shouldn't be paying for so many leads, right? Like you got to match the amount of leads to how much you're going to really be working, right? But we have like, what's 1500 divided by, just say you worked, I don't know, 6 days or whatever, 250 dials a day. If you have a dialer system, right? Like in Agent CRM, they have a dialer system. You could use like a wave dialer or something like that. Man, you could get through that pretty fast, right? It dials pretty quickly to get to 250 a day. So hopefully that answered your question here.
It does. It should. Awesome. Well, guys, we're running a little over. I'm glad you guys stayed with us. Most of them stayed with us. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I kind of get the feeling here that this is something that agents truly need. I mean, we all need those leads to kind of get the ball going. Without doing that, I mean, doesn't matter how smart we are, doesn't matter how many carriers we have, it doesn't matter how much training and support you get. You've got to get out there and do this. Now, do you guys have any questions? Just I know, Michael, I hope we answered your question, but any other questions for Neal? Just put them on the chat. And Neal, can you type in that website where they need to go to see if they want to connect with you and see if they want you to run their ads?
Yeah.
Type it in here.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. We put it in. Moreno. So just so you guys see it, it's basically this website. You're just gonna click I'm ready. It's gonna go to a calendar. You're gonna meet with me. We're gonna talk about strategy, see if this is the good fit for you. But go into that website that I just put into the chat, and then you can look at everything here, right? So have some results, like some testimonials, all that stuff. You guys can read all that stuff.
Awesome. Well, guys, connect with Neal. He'll help you out, get those ads going, and you want to do them now. One question that I get from agents, well, should I just wait till AEP to do this if I'm doing Medicare or maybe OEP for ACA, which starts in November? And the answer is no. You've got to give Facebook some time to learn the algorithm, to learn what's going to make your ad successful and get it out to as many people as it can. So you definitely want to start beforehand.
And the beauty is that we can run some ancillary products so you can get your foot in the door, introduce yourself, get talking to the person so that when AEP comes, like you're ready for it, right? Like we can run those products all year round.
Beautiful. Awesome. All right, Neal. Hey, guys, thank you all very much for being on here. All this information will be down below. If you click on the description, you click on and it'll expand and you'll see everything on there. Or if you want to just post a comment, we will reply. And we're looking forward to you guys working with Neal. All right, Neal. Thanks again, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. You all take care. Bye-bye.